Brownsville has some mythology about Brownsville being a tough place to be, gangs and gangsters and shady characters and so on. Indeed, it was a poor neighborhood. A lot of wooden structures, especially with the asbestos shingling on the exterior, very typical for that part of town. We lived on Christopher Avenue, 304 Christopher Avenue. Christopher and Dumont, and so it was more the eastern part of it, and it was an interesting street. We lived in the first floor of a tenement, a brick tenement, walk up, of course, and to one side, if you faced the building, to the right was a pretty much totally destroyed, but there's still sections of it, of a Turkish bath. If you look to the left, there was what I believe was the last remaining slaughterhouse in New York City. So periodically we could hear the cows mooing, and they threw in packs bundled up stinky hides that they dumped them in the back of trucks, and we were like one window away from that. Across the street, there was a storage area for push carts. So it was an area of tenements. I mean, 2 blocks behind us, was the projects that were probably constructed in the 1930s or early 40s, and the elevated line, what used to be called the IRT, going to New Lots Avenue, was 1 block away. The L. And for some reason I never understood, so there were houses on our side and across the street, and for a reason, what I always have recalled, whether it's true or not, I couldn't remember why were there whites on our side and there were blacks across the street. That's my recollection of trying to your question. It was a neighborhood mixed of, in the 40s, 50s, early 50s, it was, we'll say, non-Hispanic whites, primarily Jewish, and blacks. It was maybe initially, maybe it was 50-50. We played, the games of the 1930s and 40s. In fact, in sort of preparing for this, I started making a list of all the games that I used to play, and I came up with a list of about 20 that are now mostly extinct. I mean, who plays stoop ball? Who plays punch ball? Who plays stick ball? Things with the tops of soda bottles. Who plays things we call packs with heels from a shoe? All kinds of things that are now extinct. Flipping baseball cards, marbles, and on the curb, which raised another issue that it was busy. There were a lot of cars, a lot of people, and I mean, we used to play in the middle of the street, punch ball. So the one catching the ball had his back to the cars coming. We'd start running. I mean, nobody ever got hit or killed. I can't imagine that I'd let my, in this time, the idea in New York of playing in the middle of the street, playing punch ball. So it was a different time. It was the same thing. I was thinking about it yesterday, that I would walk, for example, I became a Cub Scout in 1950, I believe it was. And it was, and the place, the basement where we met, was perhaps 6 blocks away, walking through, a park, Betsy Head Park, and it was dark, and the elevated train, and there were times when I went home by myself when I was 12 or 13. But somehow it was safe. Nothing ever happened. It's amazing. The same thing, I went on the subway when I was 13 or by myself. my parents let me go. They somehow trusted me that I wouldn't do something crazy.